Dear students, welcome to the course Water Treatment and Environmental Biotechnology. I will here give you a brief introduction to what you're supposed to learn and how we organize the course. We can start by going to the university homepage, looking at the study program Master of Science in Energy and Environmental Technology. If we scroll down, we find the study plan, and it has some general descriptions that you may read at your own pace and whenever convenient. But I'm scrolling down to the bottom and clicking on this particular course. Here we can learn what you're supposed to learn in this course, what kind of skills you're supposed to obtain, and how we organize it. The idea is that you should learn how to solve pollution problems in water, whether it's wastewater treatment or how we treat drinking water before it's safe to use. You need to learn how to select sustainable solutions, and this requires some in-depth understanding of a range of topics, really, more than we can cover in a course like this. But instead, we give you an overview and in-depth understanding on one particular topic, and that especially is biogas production, since anaerobic digestion as a treatment method is gaining popularity very fast, becoming very important because it's a way to not only treat the water but at the same time recover resources. So we use this also to teach you how to model systems, how to do laboratory tests, and so on. So here you can read more about that. You can also read about the skills you're supposed to acquire, and that you can do at your own pace by pausing here or by going to the home page like I just demonstrated. There's something about the general competence you're supposed to gain, and then there is the course description, including some of the main topics. Notice, for instance, that we will touch on aquatic ecology, not in depth naturally, but in doing so, we learn how and why we should treat wastewater in the best way. And also, it's an introduction to the ecology that we have in the bioreactors that are usually the core of treatment processes. We go into water quality parameters because we need to know how to measure and evaluate the quality of treatment processes, and so on. You can read more here. Teaching and learning methods, again, but you can read it here, but I will also go a bit deeper into that next after telling you that the score or the grade you get is based on the final test. But we also have labs in the course that are really important, where you probably learn the most, and these needs to be passed in a good way to be allowed to take the final exam. Okay, so let's move on to the plan for the course, the lecture plan. This is for last year, but it's essentially more or less the same every year. So here you can see how the first week, which is typically the second week of January, we start by the introduction to water treatment. And that is covered partly by a paper, a PowerPoint presentation that you can find by clicking on this link. Then you see my notes on that. But you're also supposed to and need to read these chapters in a book we often called Metcalfe and Eddy, short M and E here. And so you see in the first day, you need to read chapter 1.1, 1.2, no, sorry, chapter 1.1, chapter 2.1, chapter 2, 2, 2.3, and 2.4. However, notice there is a parenthesis around 2.2. So this is not something you need to know for the exam, but it's certainly something you should at least look through to more easily understand the next chapters. All right, notice also that we have something called lab, where you, in this case, it's just homework problems from the book. So you just look into that and you practice and you can turn them in and get feedback from us, the lecturers. By the way, the book, Metcalfe and Eddy, the official name or the actual name of the book is Wastewater Engineering, Treatment, Resource Recovery, and this is the 5th edition. And you see it's published by the consulting company Metcalfe and Eddy. That's why we call it Metcalfe and Eddy. This is the 5th edition. Some of you may want to buy the 4th edition from former students just to save money. That is possible, and we've gone through quite a bit of trouble in describing the differences between the 2 editions, and they're quite small. So it's no problem using the 4th edition. You just need to read here what the differences are. So this is a book you need. Also because the final exam is an open book exam. So you can take this book along. No notes, nothing else, but you can bring this book and it can contain your own notes on the pages, but no loose papers like I have in mine. So if you want to do well in this course, get the book, use it, learn to navigate, and use it efficiently for the exam and for future work. Okay. A little bit more about the plan. So you see then the next day we go into modeling, which is a really important tool in designing processes. As you probably already know, but modeling treatment plants is quite different from the kind of modeling you've probably done before. We use a tool, a modeling tool called Aquasim, made at the Swiss Water Institute. By clicking on this link, you can download the software and descriptions and tutorials and everything. So it's possible to practice on your own how to use it. And we'll tell you how to get started. But the first thing is just use the first tutorial and you're off the ground. All right, so next topic, second week, is given by someone else than me. I am RB, as you see, under lecturer. Then Mike will take over and he will give you an introduction to environmental biotechnology. And he will go deeper into that for 2 weeks. This serves as the basis for our next topic, biogas production. Here, we start simulating, but we also start the lab. So the most important lab in the course is this lab on biogas production. You may consider it to be almost 1/3 of the course in terms of work. So we will be working on that for some time off and on. You need to go to the lab, you need to take samples, take readings. Here we're back on the lab and we go through the data you've acquired, start analyzing them, try finding out what's going on in the bioreactors you're handling. Then after a few more weeks, you turn in a report. But the first time you just turned it in as a draft together with other students in your same group. But then later you turn in a final, and then you get some feedback on this, of course, and then you make so that you can write a good final report, which you turn in individually, and this will be evaluated, and if good enough, you're allowed to take the final exam. There are also some other labs that we carry out towards the end of the semester, such as aeration in water and coagulation experiments. Another thing I want to point out, we always have at least 2 excursions to water treatment plants. Here, last one, last semester was to the local wastewater treatment plants. You get to see how modern Norwegian wastewater treatment plant is designed and operated. Earlier in the semester, we typically go to the drinking water treatment plant and see how that is carried out. And as you will see, there is very good quality drinking water in Porsgrunn, and because this is well designed and well operated plant. All right, so that was roughly our plan. Again, you can look at details here at your leisure, but for now, this is as far as we go in this introduction. So we'll get into other topics soon.